Okay, cool. I don't know if anybody is in here yet, but I'm just finishing a little bit of setup. If you are watching, and if you can hear the audio, maybe type a comment and say hello in that YouTube chat or on the Discord channel. And I'll try to get this going. Cool. Just trying to make sure I have my chat windows set up so that I can keep track if anybody's commenting. I gotta have a couple windows open inside VR here, and I want to make sure everything is good to go. So again, if you just logged on, if you are watching and you want to give me a shout out on either the Discord channel or the YouTube comments, then I'll be able to make sure I can see them. But I think we're good to go. I'm gonna do one more check. So again, if you just logged on, if you are watching and you want to... Okay, cool. So David's can hear me from Australia. Oh man, I don't know, what time is it over there? I hope it's not too late or like 4 in the morning or something crazy. But yeah, thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate it. I think this is going to be pretty fun. I'll go ahead and start with a little demo of my software. So you guys that 3D print minis and stuff, if you know a little bit about normal sculpting software, people are using ZBrush a lot, and I use ZBrush a lot, but I also really like virtual reality, and I have this set up on my studio computer here. Thanks, David. 7 a.m. I appreciate it. Excuse me. I've got this set up here, kind of this overlay, so that the controllers in VR are overlaid on my hands, so that you can see the sculpt as it comes to life, the way I interact with it. So I have this object here that I can see in front of me with kind of a blue screen, so I'm kind of green screening it, and I've got a double overlay here to set this all up on OBS Studio. So yeah, this is how I start making most of my models. It's kind of a weird workflow, and maybe not not what conventional wisdom would tell you to do, but I really like working in VR. As you can see, I kind of can draw clay out in front of me, and I can move it. I can make it bigger or smaller, and do a bunch of different things. That feels really organic and intuitive. So I really like to design this way. Kind of start like moving clay around and having fun with stuff. And I also like to start refining details this way. I usually end up doing a little bit of like detail work in ZBrush, and then all of the preparation for 3D printing in ZBrush, which is more and more people are starting to use even this software for all of those steps. But yeah, it's cool. I like having access to both of them to be able to jump around. So yeah, so what I thought I'd do is kind of depending on how many people are on here, sort of take some recommendations or some like keywords of stuff maybe you'd like to see. I'm going to try to sculpt maybe a couple small things really quickly. I can talk about my process. I can talk more in depth about the techniques I'm using if that's interesting to people. Anything that you want to hear about. But I also just wanted to kind of start with a blank slate and generate some sculpts directly from you guys' feedback and input and influence, so that we can have like an interactive session that way. I think that'd be pretty cool. I did have a couple of comments on the Discord channel for like some Hollow Knight stuff and for some like an Angel of Death and some Jackalope stuff. So I pulled up a couple reference images for that. I'm going to load those up really quickly, and so that I have those in front of me. Pull that, and I really liked that guy. So now I've got these images in VR too. So I got a Jackalope. So we could do something with that. I'll put that over there. And then this Hollow Knight creature is pretty cool. I definitely could kind of build something inspired by that. Actually, maybe I'll start with something like this. Maybe like a mouth with some eyes on the inside. I think that'll be cool. So I'm going to put that over there also. Maybe I'll combine the two. I don't know. But I'm gonna start. So again, if you want to hear more about the techniques I'm using, just let me know as I go along. But I'll start with my first layer here, and I have a mirror mode on so that I get symmetry on both sides. I'm going to start. And I'll try to keep the angle interesting for you guys too. So, and always the first part of the sculpt starts with like this combination of like putting clay down and then grabbing this move brush and moving it and trying to find like some cool primary forms. And the other cool thing you can do is you can carve into the model and erase sort of that way. So this is also nice to find some plane changes, stuff like that. I think another thing I'll do from time to time is I'll show you use the smooth brush here, start smoothing out some of the forms and the details. I think maybe if I pull the light, that's going to be a little better. So you guys can see, see the form a little bit better. I'll scoot back here too. Yeah, so sometimes you see I get real close and zoom in, and the thing was like massive in front of me, but this helps me work on some smaller parts of the model. Again, I don't know if anybody watching or anybody who watches eventually, if you guys have used ZBrush ever. ZBrush is really awesome, but really for me, nothing quite beats having this organic feel and being able to get really close to the model and then shrink it back. Man, it's just awesome to have this level of flexibility. So I think we'll do like a cyclopean thing. And I'll go ahead and put a new layer down and give him an eyeball right here. Now that I've got two layers, I can take this eyeball and kind of work on the size independently. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep in mind to move quickly. So we just maybe generate a couple of base shapes during the session, and then I'll try to finish up as much as I can later. I think if we do a new layer, I'm going to turn off the mirror mode, and I'm going to give him like a couple of spindly legs, maybe. So like that, and then I will duplicate that layer and we got that. And then let's do one more new layer and get a little foot shape. Yeah, something like that. And then I'll duplicate all those and flip them. So now I got 2 sets of legs, and I'll work on posing these a little bit. Just grabbing each one and flipping it around. Maybe. And how about so I think I'm going to add some tentacles to this guy. David, to answer your question, you generate lore for your monsters as you sculpt, or is that something that comes at the very end? I think it's a little bit of a mix. I think I really like, personally, to be surprised by my sculpts, so I like to, as I build them, like let them sort of add to their story and flavor. And I don't want to get too hung up in like having a design really dictated before I execute it that won't change, because that kind of gets stale and dull to me. I have a little bit of a low patience, I guess, and I like to constantly, I need to be entertained all the time, even by my own work. So I like to have this stuff evolve. And then even after it's done, I think I'll keep thinking about it. The other day I was thinking about some of the December stuff, and like maybe even thinking about the relationships between the sculpts, like if, you know, a couple of the monsters are like mortal enemies of one another or something like that. Could be pretty cool. So yeah, I like to have these guys kind of come to life and fill in the details while I'm sculpting, but at the same time I'm not really actively thinking about that all the time, because I feel like I sort of have to get into the zone and uh like into the artistic, you know, rhythm, which can sort of feel meditative at times. So I definitely, you know, kind of want to tap into that space. So I'm gonna draw some tentacles. I like this guy. And one more. Nope. So I also have a really nice undo and redo option, so I can really quickly take a couple test strokes, and especially drawing stuff like that out, kind of find fun shapes. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure I'll fiddle with these tentacles a little bit more. I don't want to get too hung up, and I might put even this last one on a separate layer so that I can. Oh, and I had a little bit of a glitch there, and that reminds me that I need to save this guy. I'm going to call it Cyclops Head. Yeah, working in VR and then doing these live streams really kind of pushes my computer a bit. So I had a crash last time when I was doing one of those D&D sculpts, and would like to avoid that. Okay, so last thing with this, guys, I think I want to get back to this like Hollow Knight design a little bit and add some eyes inside the mouth and maybe like a layer of teeth around the mouth. Okay. So, new layer. The way I've been making nice spiny teeth lately is plopping down a sphere like that and then grabbing part of it and extending it. And then I'm going to copy it a lot. Maybe. Might. So I also start thinking too a little bit about printability and ease of printability. I don't want that to limit me too much, but at the same time, if I can make a couple of decisions that I know will help avoid millions of supports in weird places, then I'd like to do that. So I'm just copying the teeth right now. Again, this is really fun for me to work this way because I can duplicate everything and then move it. Instead of having to use the ZBrush manipulator on the 2D screen, which feels kind of clunky to me at times, I can just grab the stuff and move them around, and I can copy them real quick and flip them, and now I've got a nice spiny mouth. And so, last thing, I'm going to put this on a new layer over here first, and like turn the mirror back on. And give myself a face to put inside this mouth. So sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. I got these. I'm trying to just do a little bit of a Hollow Knight eye. And duplicate that. Also, one trick I do is try to keep the eyes separated and make copies of them so that when I do the renders, I can easily, have a duplicate to make those glowing eyes separate from the rest of the body. So maybe that's like a weird alien face that could go in there. I'll grab all of that and dive it into the mouth here. I can tell I'm probably going to need to spend some time refining this a little bit and generating like a really readable form in the mouth. So this could take me a little bit of work because I'd really like that to look like a cool face. Yeah, thanks, David. I appreciate it. It's fun how quick the software can be. I'm trying to get better at, I guess, setting myself up for success with it because you can end up with lots of crazy parts really quickly. Like, for example, if I do a new layer and I give it some resolution, I can do all kinds of fun textures. But I can end up with like some nasty stuff that just is not good for 3D printing at all. So I'm trying to keep that in mind as well. So yeah, I think this is a good start. Maybe I'm going to leave this one where it is, since we've got the base forms in place. The last thing I'm kind of thinking is maybe to pull the hair kind of tree stuff from the Hollow Knight design, and maybe I would give him some sort of textured like top. So for example, this I have a rock shaped brush right now, but I can kind of use it to make some interesting textures, and then I can, so that's what that's doing. I can sort of mess with pulling that around and down, maybe. And this is something too, maybe in ZBrush, I'll take that hair layer, if I add some hair like that, and I'll put some noise on it or something, or some texturing to pop it out. But yeah, you can get some cool forms pretty quickly with the VR stuff. So that's some like interesting shape for the back of him. So yeah, I like this guy. I'll save him out, and then I will maybe try to work him up later. I have a lot of stuff that I end up abandoning that doesn't make the monthly stuff. Do design and kind of get maybe halfway in, and then put it aside and save it for later. That's sort of been part of my process, is finding the sculpts that work. Maybe it's not the most efficient, but finding the sculpts that work, and even some of the ones that do work. If I don't have time to make a complete lineup, if I've already got a completed lineup, then I'll put them aside for later. So I have a couple things from the ocean set that didn't make it all the way. But it'll be cool to maybe play with that stuff later at some point. Some base work of that is done already. So again, if anybody is watching, you can chat with me on Discord or on the YouTube stuff. And if you want to suggest something, like give me an adjective or an animal or something, like I'll roll with it. I'm not at the point in my career where I have hundreds of comments streaming in that I have to filter, so I'm totally willing. If anybody wants to throw down an idea or words, a buzzword, you want something tall, something scary, something with antlers, go for it, and I'll try to launch something off that. I'm gonna start a new. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's gonna mess up the camera. I'm gonna put this guy to the side, and I'm gonna start a new guy here. Let's see. Actually, we'll save him out, and I'll just delete him. So just grabbing all these layers real quick, deleting them. We'll save this as a blank space. Okay. So number 2, and if I don't, again, I'm trying to keep track of Discord's a little bit tricky, but I don't think I got anything coming in there, so cool. Okay, next one. Maybe we will go with the jackalope a bit. Let's go for that. But I also kind of wanted to do like a floating eyeball or something. So, all right, let's see what happens. Armadillo caster. I think I need to look that up. David, you mean like just like the basic armadillo shell, or like caster, like spellcaster or something? I'm gonna pull an image real fast. Yeah, so I'm gonna save out, grab an armadillo off the internet. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay, couple quick images. Okay, nice. Yeah, I appreciate the prompt. That's awesome. Let's go get this guy. All right, armadillo. Okay, so I'm going to really quickly rough out something here. And he's got his little arms that go like... So, and a lot of times when I make this too, it'll be like placeholder stuff. So, this arm, I'll probably, if I work this up, we'll develop the talons and stuff separately and then put them in. But at least this gives me a placeholder as like a kind of a sketch while I design. New layer. Their legs are really cool. They have these really splayed toes and really scaly legs. I think he's going to have horns too, so let's give... Look at that picture again. Kind of put the horns... So I'm kind of, as this is like happening, I'm kind of thinking a couple things. Maybe his head, I would try to make like the skeleton version of the armadillo head, or of the jackalope head, even of like a rabbit, just some sort of like small mammal skull to make it creepy. And I know I'll have to spend some time finding that form a little bit better. The other thing, let's see. I'll go ahead and put the shell on. There are some things too with like that I might do in ZBrush, like this maybe if I want to segment his shell out, I could really quickly do that in ZBrush. So I kind of make a mental note of that and keep it for later. Yeah, I think a skeleton head would be pretty cool. And eventually, also don't want things to stay too symmetric for too long. Eventually, I'll turn the mirror off and like tilt his head a little bit, something like that. Find a nice bit of character for the sculpt. And I think if I pull his arms down a little bit more. The other thing I was thinking, and we can just play here with this, is to like, build something out of his chest. Like maybe he's been taken over by a parasite or something, in which case like the head would maybe be tilted back and the legs maybe dangle down because he's floating. I don't know. This could get too complex, but we'll give it a shot really quick. So let's put a giant eyeball right there, and maybe turning off the mirror mode, like maybe some nasty, like viney stuff. Maybe that's what his skin is kind of pulling into. So yeah, like it could be an eyeball, and then it could be that you can go back to those curvy things. If it was like crawling across the ground like that, so that would be like, yeah, like it like took over the little jackalope dude, exploded out of the stomach, and then crawls along with it sort of dangling off like something off the back of its head. It's pretty disgusting, actually. Pretty bizarre. But it's cool. I would like to do just like a cute little jackalope, that's not parasitically possessed or taken over, but yeah, so this could be something too, huh? And yeah, fungal growths. I like that idea. They've got a couple of brushes in this program of like, it's like kind of like a mushroom thing, and I'm not going to use it directly. I'm going to more just maybe like shoot some texture off the back. Maybe along the length of the tentacle too. So like, yeah, something like that. little more work real quick up here. I definitely will need to look at some skulls if I want to go this route, but it'll just give me a quick impression. And the cool thing is, because this is all layered out, like maybe I could do, I can't make any promises, but I could do two versions. You know, I could do like pre-parasitic consumption and post-parasitic consumption. But like I said, I'm trying to stick with this like simple, some small, simple, quick monsters that are easy to print, don't require a ton of supports and stuff like that. So I will also leave this one at this state and give it a little bit more attention later. So let me save this out as Jackalope. Okay. And then I'll do one more quick one. Yeah, pairing could be cool as a party encounter. I think it's fun to drop one mini on the table and then switch it out for something after something happens to it. Version 2, phase 2, whether that's big or small, is pretty fun. Okay. So cleared that out, and we'll go for one more. Yeah, we'll do one more quick one. So I think, what time? It's 12:40. Yeah, let's do one more quick one. Okay. I really let's figure out what to do. I know they said Angel. Somebody said Angel of Death, but from the Void, which is a pretty big sculpt. I could do some small winged stuff really quickly. Or okay, I'll just play, and maybe this will turn into something big and nasty. This is kind of how I made the Uzumaki, the Vortex Demon King. He started. I just started kind of messing around in VR and started finding shapes and something that I liked from that. Some of the other sculpts from that month I had done sketches of, but yeah, he came from VR. Yeah, cool, David. Hypnotic's a great word. And I mean, you're the only one participating, so it's up to you, man. I appreciate that. Uh, let's see. I was, as you said that, I was kind of thinking about pulling something figurative out of this mass and using this. At first, it felt like a head, but then I thought maybe it would be fun to treat it as a base or a torso of some kind. So maybe we can get hypnotic in there with like a staff or a texture. Okay, let me like move quickly now and get a couple more shapes. And where's my layers list? It's sometimes shit gets lost. Oh, stuff gets lost. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this PG-13. Okay, so now I'm also thinking it would be cool to do a really thick base and something really skinny up top. And I don't think I have a lot of stuff like that. So this is a bit of that like designing on the fly. I'm kind of posing this thing and seeing like, do I want the arms up? Oop. Another bug. Thank goodness I've been saving. And it pushed those windows really close. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, we're still good. Okay. Yeah, no, don't worry. I had saved out so much uh, that none of the stuff is lost. It just, I mean, this guy could be lost, but I could build him again in a couple seconds, couple minutes. Yeah, this is cool. So I think this guy needs a staff of some kind. And he definitely needs a weirder base. So there's a lot to be done. with this guy, like kind of like a mount of some kind. Oh, so now I'm seeing a bit of a bird beak going on here, and I think that could be pretty cool and psychedelic. I've wanted to do another gate protector. I got to do a fourth one because I want there to be 4 of those guys, and maybe this could turn into that. I might build the face. Sometimes I build the faces in ZBrush. Or another thing I might do is build the basic face here and then do some of the features in ZBrush and then bring it back in. So I don't bounce between the 2 programs too often, but occasionally we'll do that. Yeah, I think if it's like a weird melted crow bird thing that just sort of flows into like nonsense, shaped nonsense, of course, but like just sort of something more psychedelic and not corporeal at the bottom, but that supports this strange skinny dude up top, my stick man, would be a pretty rad mount. And I can really quickly, so I'm going to put a constraint on my brush so that I draw on a line, and I'll make just a placeholder for a staff really fast. So this is a good example of like designing while I go. No idea what I'm doing. Now that I've got something in place, it'll require a bit more refinement for sure. Like looking at the pose, kind of posing my own hands in front of a mirror and holding a staff to grab it the way that I'd like to, so that it's got some nice weight and gesture to it. And refining the head shape and all these other shapes. I think I wanted to... So, and okay, real quickly, this is maybe the last thing I'll do for this session is I'm just trying to give him like a little bit more of a correct spinal column. So I have thoracic come down here and then out into, cervical up here, down into the thoracic and the shoulder blades. Yeah, and then if he's got a big curve in his spine, he'll have that lumbar section coming down that way. Maybe this will flip out, and then we'll go... It'd be cool to give him like some scaling kind of ridges too. Like sometimes if I pull the brush fast, I can get, or if I up the resolution, it'll kind of jitter. But I'll keep playing with that. Okay. Nice. Well, okay, I'm going to save this one out as protector, maybe. Yeah, and again, he's going to need a lot of work, but I like the concept a lot. Skinny guy popping out of some weird bird base that kind of feels like part statue, part creature at the bottom. Maybe we can even go back to that like first protector the first gate idea where it just feels like a statue that wouldn't really move, and this guy would just come out of the top section. Yeah, thanks, David. I'm excited to work this one up too. I got a few more sculpts to finish for December. Couple more. I'll actually show you guys one of them real quick that's pretty far along. Let's see. Actually, I don't want to show Jonathan's too soon yet because he has not seen it. But I had a cool idea from Jesse Wilcox, was the random winner of the paint competition. So I asked him to give me a design for December, and he sent me a drawing that his daughter did of an ice golem king, and it was awesome, the drawing. So this is what I worked up. If you can see, this is all VR. I finished him a couple days ago in ZBrush and got him printed. But this ice golem, pretty bizarre. Really liked the face she had drawn and the belly she'd given him, and then she drew a little like Prince character too. So I went ahead and worked up a little Prince ice golem to kind of tag along with him, and I got those test printed and everything, and I'm happy with them. So yeah, a couple more of those things coming up, and pretty cool cosmic horror arachnid thing that I'm just getting finished up now. So yeah, thanks for watching, David. Everybody else who may or may not have tuned in, I'll post a link to this so you can check it out later and watch it on your own time, especially if you're in a crazy time zone. But yeah, I hope this was enjoyable. I hope to do more of these where I can actually like interact with you guys while I work on the sculpts, and even get some direct feedback and inspiration, so that the sculpt can kind of change and form with the patron input. I think that would be nice. The Patreon thing can kind of feel sometimes like, oh, you just like pay for objects and a new bundle every month, and the value is really good. But I think it would be cool for me to build a little bit more of like a community into this, because the support, man, has been massively appreciated. And I know I say it all the time in the posts, but I appreciate the support a ton. If you haven't read my bio, like I used to work for Cirque du Soleil. I was a performer, and the pandemic kind of shut everything down, and I've always really wanted to pursue my passions instead of having to get a job that I'm not as suited for. So I really wanted to dive into this seriously, and the Patreon thing takes some months to build, and it's a lot of branding, a lot of work, but I've learned a ton from it, and I really appreciate all the feedback and the support, because you guys are helping me day by day like do what I love to do, and bring you guys cool monsters. So yeah, thanks again. I'm gonna sign off for now, and I'll post this, and yeah, we'll see you at the next one.